Good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful evening today. Welcome to episode 2 of the Charles Leslie Jr. Show. Today, I want to talk about local autonomy in Belize and how it can significantly improve the economy of Belize almost overnight. Improving the lives of the citizens and those we govern, both in their basic living conditions and their economic well-being, is then the goal. We must continue to promote democracy and decentralization of authority. Central government may devolve considerable authority to the local authorities, depending on the capacity of such authorities to manage the responsibilities. Do you guys know who made that statement? Any ideas? It was Minister Godwin Hulse. He made that statement. Minister Godwin Hulse, who is an advocate of autonomy for rural communities and is the Minister of Local Government, spoke at a Caribbean Local Economic Development CARILED forum held between May 16 and 18 in 2012. When I was the chairman of Placencia between 2010 and 2013, I had the opportunity to be appointed as the head negotiator for the transition of the Placencia Water Board over to BWS. At one of these particular meetings at the NEMA office in Belize, I had the opportunity to meet Godwin Hulse. He was the Minister of Local Government at that time in 2012. I spoke to him briefly about Placencia getting its bylaws and about other local autonomy efforts to help the Placencia Village Council fulfill its mandate. During that conversation, Minister Hulse told me that he does not support anymore Placencia getting its bylaws because it would open Pandora's box. That statement really upset me because it showed me that Minister Hulse was saying one thing, but he was doing something else. He did not believe that Placencia Village, for example, should get local autonomy. It is important that I repeat in his statement that he said dependent on the capacity of such authorities to manage the responsibilities. That is an important statement because in Placencia, the Placencia Water Board, under the chairleadership of my aunt Janice Leslie, had proven without a doubt that our community, with the guidance of astute people, could easily manage the finances of our community. Under my chairmanship, we were able to bring the Placencia Village Council out of debt, and we kept it out of debt for 3 years. We managed to invest over $100,000 in municipal projects, and when I left the Placencia Village Council in 2013, the accounts were in black. This proved to me and to the government and the people of Placencia that we are more than capable of managing our own affairs. I have changed my mind about how I feel about what Minister Godwin Hulse said at that time. The reason being is because communities have to prove that they can be responsible for their own affairs, especially their financial affairs. So it is very important for people in those communities to elect people who have the capacity, the skills to properly run and manage their village council affairs, especially the financial affairs and also the land affairs, without any controversies over the course of their tenure as chairperson. In my humble opinion, the government of Belize under the current Minister of Local Government should make every effort to identify villages like Placencia and Independence Village and so on and so forth and start rolling out local autonomy. It is very important that these communities start to have the financial resources that they need to properly function, to properly fulfill their mandates in their community. We cannot have a village like Placencia, for example, over $20 million being passed through this community in taxes, and they have to go around begging the business community for more money to just fulfill their basic mandates, their basic responsibilities. If this community could get a tax scheme rolled out on the property tax, trade license fees, and a proportion of the taxes collected in that community are located to Placencia, no matter who is the chairman or who is the area representative of the Stan Creek West constituency, I believe that these communities will start on the road to show more responsibility in who they elect into office. This is critical right now. Belize is at a juncture where we are on the brink, on the precipice of becoming a failed state. The crime in Belize City now has moved out to the rural communities. I will touch on that in another video. But these communities are finding it more and more difficult to develop, to attract, for example, more business such as tourism and so on and so forth, to build the necessary infrastructure in their community and maintain those infrastructure, even though they have millions, tens of millions of dollars passing through their community. I can just give you a few examples. You have Ladyville that has the international airport that has millions and millions of dollars passing through. If they had proportional budgetary allocation, just imagine Ladyville would be able to easily maintain their streets, to develop social programs to help at-risk kids, to help with a housing project for single parents, single moms, single dads, to help the elderly and so on and so forth. This can easily be transferred to almost every single community within Belize. You have Same Bite, Placencia, Independence Village, Hopkins. Yes, I understand that the government is doing what it can. It just paved the road to Hopkins, then paved the road within Hopkins. But if you drive through Hopkins today, and most of these rural communities, they are still very poor. The local councils are still having a very difficult time fulfilling their basic mandates. And in many of these communities, because of the political tribalism that exists, we have a lot of corruption. So this is something that the central government and people like Godwin Hulse should continue to advocate for. We cannot just ignore the situation in Belize anymore. For example, I learned just this week from a friend that crime continues to increase in Placencia because the police just cannot handle the amount of responsibilities they have. The village council is strapped. I understand that the village council is now in $90,000 debt. I'm unable to confirm that amount, but this puts the local council in a situation that it finds itself difficult to assist, to fulfill its mandate, to work with the police, to do other municipal projects. So the government, the Prime Minister currently has a huge investment in Placencia, and we must be extremely careful. We must study tourism in Mexico, for example, where crime has destroyed hundreds of millions of dollars worth of tourism investment because the government simply did not put enough focus on addressing crime in that situation. The local business community can also be a part of advocating. Look, I know you guys don't want to pay any more taxes. When I was chairman, one of the reasons for that, when I started to approach businesses to support different projects, one of the reasons some of the businesses were reluctant to help is because they were afraid that their money would be squandered. I made sure that we proved that their money would be spent exactly how we said it would be spent, and it was. And I think that has been continued to this point. So it is now important that the business community advocate with the government and say, we are willing to support a portion of our taxes going to the community. We are willing to pay more property taxes, which should go to the local councils. We are willing to pay trade license fees. It can be on a graduating scale. You know, if you own a multi-million-dollar investment, you pay more than a guy who is just has one bedroom that he's renting and trying to survive. You know, when we developed the Peninsula 2020 document, we had tons and tons of meeting. I am sure that a charging scheme can be developed by meeting with the community, meeting with local businesses, and also using examples from San Pedro, Belize City, Belmopan, and all the large municipalities. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Guys, once again, thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry that this video is late, but this is a one-man show. I do everything myself. I shoot the video, I edit, I upload, and I have other business that I need to tend to, so I do my best to create these videos. If you want to help me, please reach out to me. I'm looking for sponsors to keep the show going. I've been the chairman of Placencia for 3 years. I was involved in DAVCO and NAVCO, and I have spent the past 10 years studying our government system. And if you notice, I try not to be a part of the bashing this politician or that politician. I believe that the system needs to be changed. Once the system change, we will see change in our economy, and we will see social change with the reduction of social decay that we are experiencing right now. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and please tune in next week for the 3rd episode of the Charles Leslie Jr. Show. I will try to launch it on Wednesdays. Thank you.